impact investing, I think, was coined in about 2007. People have been doing it in some form for centuries, but I think the phrase and the kind of the excitement that's been generated around it is relatively new, less than 10 years. So it's rather sexy. I mean, I think there's a lot of interest. You see JP Morgan Chase in 2010 publishing what they call impact investing, a new asset class. You have Morgan Stanley, you have Bain Capital. A lot of your big institutional investors now looking at impact investing as this cool new thing. What's the future of impact investing? How do we keep this thing that I think has come on the scene? How do we keep it sustainable for the long term? And is there sustainability? Or is the goal that it just becomes normative to investing and impact is dropped because that's what we're doing as a part of investments?
Impact investing will not be successful if the impact modifier stays. I think the biggest risk in our global economy is we are unable to appropriately price long-term social and environmental risk. Look at massive food and water shortages in the Middle East because we didn't manage the agriculture system well. We have a huge drought in the middle of a big crisis in Syria. We have massive droves of migrants to Europe. We have massive right-wing populist political response. All of a sudden, we have Brexit, and that costs people $3 trillion. People say Brexit came out of nowhere, and they said, well, it's because people are racist or people don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But it actually came because we made a bunch of short-termist decisions along the way that were not in the best interest of managing our global food and water system, but they were in the best interest of what stockholders wanted that quarter.
Totally.
And like, if you are an agriculture company in the US and you're in the West and you're not managing your water supply, BlackRock should be tanking your stock price because it's not going to happen tomorrow. But 15 years from now, this company will not exist. If you're managing your water supply well, that the stock price should reflect that. And so that is impact investing. And you say, this business is more likely to be successful because of the social and environmental impact it has. Time and time again, that proves to be true, but we don't price it in.
So has there been any conversation about dropping the impact from impact investing and just pursuing a more pure form of investing, that we actually are looking at community problems with a long-term view and saying that's how investing should be done?
Yeah, I think in some ways impact investing has been counterproductive because it creates almost this kids table, and the adults at the real investment table say, isn't that nice and cute, but you're definitely going to lose money. And if I had one wish for impact investing, I think that impact investing should assert itself as the default, and the people who are currently investing in and with an eye towards maximize quarterly profits, or people are investing in venture capital funds that invest in white guys, and most all venture capital funds lose money. Like, these are the default, the things we invest in over and over again, even though we know they don't work. And so if you're working for a private equity firm in Louisville, you should defend why your firm doesn't incorporate long-term social environment.
Right.
And you're not asked to now. You are dismissive of and patronizing of people that are talking about impact, and that narrative needs to change.
Yeah, and I do think we're going to start to see that shift. I mean, with 75% of the workforce in 2025 being millennials, and 85% of millennials now making decisions on purchasing based upon the social effect and social impact of businesses. So I think we're going to see the marketplace shift. I think we're going to see some of the investment decisions shift because young people care about these things.
Yeah.
And they are demonstrating that with their pocketbooks and how they're doing things and where they're choosing to work, where they're choosing to live. Also, we have the greatest transfer of wealth happening over the next decade that the world has ever experienced. And so I think investment firms and wealth managers now are going to have to start thinking about those things because millennials are making those decisions, which scares a lot of people, but I think gives some people hope. Well,
people want a different narrative. What you're doing with Access Ventures is you're saying, here is a way to invest that takes into account the good of the community, which people want. They just don't have a name or a structure for it. I think that there should be an Access Ventures in every city, and I think people will emotionally resonate with it. They've also got to psychologically resonate with it because Access Ventures needs to make money for people to think this is where I want my family's net worth to go. But if you're able to prove that, why would you ever not invest in something that made your community better once you know that you can?
Right.